And after a long time, those who don't know, I'm the founder of this channel, and welcome all to this React.js day one. And we are going to complete React.js in 4 days. It won't take more than 4 days to complete everything in React.js, and everything will be completed from class based to function based. Someone was asking some registration link, attendance link that is not shared at the starting, that is always shared at the end. So that will be shared at time when time will be there. It will be shared. Okay, so that is there. And so let's get started with React.js. And I don't want to give the theory what is React.js, and React.js I always say on my channel. And React.js is the only way to get a job today, and the most demanded skills on the planet is React.js. So just you have React.js on your resume, you'll get the job, and it will be like this for the next 10 years. So I'm pretty much know what it is like that, because I do a lot of corporate training. In fact, the past 1 month I was not even in my hometown. I was doing corporate trainings. Okay, so that is there. Let me share my screen, and we're all able to see my screen. Okay, so yeah, so to start with React.js, what do we need? To start with React.js, we need to create a project. React.js was created by Facebook. It's a JavaScript library. So for that, you need to come to, just I will tell soon, create the React app. So this one is there. Create React app, and completely open source. Just you need to have npm installed on your system. So by this time you are doing React.js, you should be pretty good in command line. It doesn't matter whether you're using a Windows or a Mac. Okay, so the thing is that which we require is the npm -v is like a version. Npm should be there, and node also should be there. So both of them you can easily get it like by installing Node.js. Node.js. You just install Node.js, the latest version, install it, and whatever is the version you'll get for the Windows, this thing, you just install it, and npm will be coming with that. So that is the requirement for React. And how to start a React project? You have to use this thing. Okay, so this command you have to use npx create React app and my app. Npx create React app and my app. You will do start it, and it will, I'm inside a folder, and it will create it. Npx create React app and my app. My app is any name you can give. So React is mainly divided into class based component and functional component. So the class based, we're going to start with class based. So why we are going to start with class based part and not with the functional? The reason behind that is the class based is very much required to start with functional, because there are some of the logics which are there, like lifecycle method, which have been changed to a hook based functional component. So what is a hook based functional component? Earlier functional component React is there from 2015. It was like started in 2013. By 2015 it became big, very big. So from then till 2020 mid, class based was the main thing. Class based was having the main functionalities like state, lifecycle method, and all those things were there. But what happened in 2020, there was a React version 16.8 was released. So 16.8 was released, and with that, so functional components started having state also and lifecycle method also, and they have got the superpower of React, and they are the way to go. If you're going to build something today, you have to build it with the functional component. But there will be project. There are a lot of projects. See the React projects, they go for 10 years like that. So 5 years, 6 years, 10 years like that. You will find class-based components somewhere or else, and it is actually not okay to teach directly the functional hook-based functional component, because there are a lot of concepts which need to be taught in the class base, then only you can do it. And see, class base is working now. The React have not there, it is not going anywhere else. It is not going anywhere. Okay, it is still there. So that's why we have to learn it, and we'll learn the concept through that first. So I'll do a cd my app. So if this is done, everything is okay. So this is my app I'll do, and then I'll start it with VS Code. So I'll do it with a code dot. I'll start with the VS Code, and then okay, it is asking me to update. Let me update it, and then I have to do a, as they're telling that cd to it and npm start. So I'll do the npm start, npm start, npm start I'll do. And what it does basically, let me make it this much. Okay, and let me make it this much, and it is like It is like, see, this is the logo which you'll see. If you're seeing this thing, it means React is working fine in your system. And anyways, if you see this also, I think I have missed it. So happy hacking thing you see, it means that React is working fine in the system. Okay, so that will be always like that. So this means React is working fine. So how will we are going to start now? So we are going to start first with what are the different files here. What are the different files here? We're going to see, and how does this, how the hell is this is coming here. So we are going to see that. So first thing which we are going to learn is that how is this is coming. Actually everything start from this index.html is there. Let me actually, I think this is way too big. I think it is more than bit visible. So this index.html is there. This is what starts the React project. Actually, React is nothing but at the end of the browser will implement only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript only can be shown in the browser. Okay. So now I'll go here and now let me remove the comment. It doesn't matter. So comment you can remove from here. It doesn't matter. So I will remove the comment here and I will save it. Nothing will happen. Okay. So the thing is that what is this? So the index.html is what is been shown here. So it is written here React app. So let me do learn React and save it. See, the learn React has been shown here. So that is okay. But how is all this thing is been shown? So index.html, I am not finding anywhere like this logo and all these things, but from where it has been shown. So there is something known as div with ID of root. This is very important. Div with ID of root is there. So now our React app actually shows this index.html, but this div with ID of root is very important. We'll go to this src, and here there is an index.js file is there. So index.js file is there, and so this index.js file is there, and here in this index.js file, see, you see that there is something like root and react dom.create root. Create root again, a bit of JavaScript kind of a code is there, but it is voice is not coming. Voice is not coming. Is voice not coming? Okay, is voice not coming? Voice not coming. One sec. Maybe I'm. Hello, hello. Is voice not coming? Is voice not coming? Can everybody confirm that the voice is not coming? But because I think it is audible. Yeah, it is audible. So voice is coming. Voice is coming pretty much good because I'm going through a. So please check from your side. Voice is completely coming. Maybe some problem from your side. Okay. So that is there, and so let us move forward. So what is happening? So here the react dom dot create root is there. Okay. So create root is there, and there is something known as document dot get element by id. Get element by id. What it's okay. Maybe my dog is barking. Don't be that much. Okay, maybe my dog is barking. So you have to live with that. You have to live with some things. Okay. So you cannot have a perfect thing. This is live streaming. This is not like some editing and all. Okay. So maybe he will be stopping in some time. I cannot stop the live streaming right now. Okay. So that is there. And so the thing is that React DOM dot create route is there, and so this create route is there, and document dot get element by id root is there. Okay, so this root, what it is doing, this root is there, and it is been told that in this root you have to render the app. You have to render the app. In the root you have to render the app. Okay. Okay, so you have to render the app, and this app is like is the main thing from which the React start. So document dot get element by id root, it's a JavaScript thing. Document dot get element by id is a JavaScript thing is there, and in that I am telling that okay, render the app, render the. So you can delete this thing like this, and this actually causes a lot of issues. Okay, so it is like that. App is been rendered. So what is this app? So I'll go to there, and this app I will show app.js. I'll show, and this app.js is the thing which is actually been shown here. App.js is the thing which has been shown here in this app.js. I have seen like this logo. This logo is coming from here. This logo is coming from here, and learn React is coming from here. So all these things have been shown here. So React is like everything is okay in React, but the only thing in React which is a bit different, is that if you know a bit of Angular and all, everything like HTML, CSS, JavaScript is different. But React, it's a bit, a thing is different in React. What is like, see, index.css, you see it is like a normal CSS file. Okay, not nothing like different. And I'm importing like this index.css, and maybe app.css is also there. So these are all normal. But if you see the main file of React is not index.js or index.html. In the index.html, I'm just showing the app, and index.js is helping me show the app.js in index.html. But a main React code starts with this app.js. And if you don't understand what I've told right now, it is okay. But this app.js is the main thing which has been shown. Okay, so that is there, and the thing is that this app.js is there, and this is, see, you might be saying this is a JS file. Okay, this is a JS file, but I am having the HTML here. I'm having the HTML here. The whole HTML is been shown here, and a bit of JS has been there and here and there. This thing is known as JSX, JavaScript XML. JavaScript XML. This thing is known as JavaScript XML. Okay, so JavaScript XML, it is known as, so it is actually very easy, and it is much more powerful. It is much more powerful. This JSX is much more powerful than your writing code in vanilla JavaScript. Much more powerful, and the main thing is much more easier also. If you look into, because I teach a lot of people, and when they do vanilla JavaScript, they say, okay sir, it is very tough. Vanilla JavaScript, like create element is there, get element by ID, and all those stuff are there. So you are creating, when you're writing a JavaScript code and create the HTML, there are a lot of code comes. But here it is like a simple HTML you're going to put, and a bit of JavaScript you're going to put inside. So this most of my students feel this is much more easier than vanilla JavaScript. And yes, React is much more easier than vanilla JavaScript code, because I'm mainly having a HTML file kind of a thing, or there's a JS file, and inside this I'll have some JavaScript code. And when I will tell what is the JavaScript codes are there. And even the reloading, it generally happens with the classes state concept, and we are going to see that state concept, and that is also much more easier to reload something. And there are some theoretical concept like virtual DOM and all. I don't want to go to that because it's not about the theory and all. Means React is really fast because of the virtual DOM and all. Okay, so that is there. And then, so we have done enough of theory. Now it's time to, not theory but in the starting, so it's time to now go ahead, and now I'll actually remove all these things. Okay, so this is how we generally start in a React project. And there are two types of components in React. One is a functional component, and one is a class-based component. Okay, so these two things are there. So we have, first, let us see what's a functional. Actually, this is also a functional component. Okay, this is also a functional component. So first, we are going to create a new component. Okay, so generally what we does, if I save it, see, everything will come blank because I removed everything. So I'll come here, and in the src I'll create a components folder, and inside this I will create a greet.js file. I'll create. React is all about creating different component. Okay, so greet.js file I'll create, and then what I am going to do here, I'll write a simple React code. Okay, so I'll write import React from React. Actually, it is not required nowadays, but it's always a good practice to put this thing. Import React from React, and then I'll write a export const greet. I'm creating a function arrow based functional component, and you can create a normal functional component also. Normal function is arrow means functional component. There are two types of component in React: functional component and class based component. So the functional component, you can do a arrow based functional component also and a normal functional component also. Always good to take arrow based functional component. I will tell why React also, and vanilla JavaScript also it is like that. Okay, so return, I'll do so this is how you'll do it. Return, and inside this I'll write something like a h1 and hello. Yes, great. And now this I've created a normal function I've created, and just a h1 is there. So now how to show it? So I'll go to the app, and then I will go to the greet. I write this greet and I'll press the enter. Okay, so this is there, and this greet, I'll save it, and I'll see this hello.js here. So what I just did, I created a functional component. I created a functional component here, and I have to export it because all the components are different. So I have to export it first here. Export it, and this way of exporting is known as your named export, is known as a named export, and this kind of an import is known as named import. See this curly bracket, I have to import it and I have to show it. And React components are generally shown like HTML self-closing tags, like this self-closing tag. So this is how we divide a React component. So this is there. So great, I have done. Okay, so this is one way to do it, and this is called a named export, and this is called a named import. Okay, I don't want to do it like this. Okay, so why it is called a named export? Okay, certificate provided if you attend all 4 days of and you fill the attendance sheet. Certificate provided. Okay, as always certificate is always provided like that. Okay, so that is there. So what is there in this named export? I can export one more thing here. Okay, so I'll do a export const. We'll copy this thing. And I will write React greet. And I've exported this thing. So I'll do this thing. So I'll do a React. You see a new thing I created from here. And see another thing. Now I can import with a comma. I am importing with a comma. This React grid, I'm importing this with a comma. I'll save it. Okay. So and this React grid is from this file. This kind of export. The benefit of this kind of export is that I can export like hundreds and thousands of things from this component. But this kind of export is not used that much. See, I'm using both of this here, and I can import multiple things with this comma. This is not used that much. This is only used if you're creating some utility functions, and maybe in a reducer there is something known as in Redux we have something known as reducer and all. Okay, so action creators, in that we use it, but generally we don't use it that much. What we use something known as a default import and a default export. That is the thing which we use generally. And what is that? Let us create it. And greeting.js I'll do, and then RAFCE I'll do. So okay, why did I did RFCE? Okay, so one second. I don't want to write again everything. So there is in React there is something known as a extension is there. This extension is there, ES7 React Redux React Native extension by this person. So I don't want to write the everything again and again and again. Okay, so this extension is a very good extension which every React developer uses, and you just have to learn 2-3 shortcuts. Like a shortcut for a functional component, arrow-based functional component is RAFCE, and then press the tab. But you have to install that first, okay? And then it will create something like this. It will give the complete skeleton. Then you can do anything. And this kind of export is known as default export. It is different than this named export. And the thing with default export is that you can export only once. Only once you can export, and generally we don't export more than once from a React component. So this is there. Then again I will do h1 greeting from React. I'll save it, Now I have to show it. Okay, so greeting like this I'll do and save it. So greeting from React is coming. See, one more thing, the import way is also different. This brackets are not there. Okay, brackets are not there. So this is how we import it, and this is the way we generally use this default import and default export component. So now let us see the class based component, because as I told, there are two kind of components: functional component and class based component. So class based functional component is a simple function, as we have seen. So let me create another file as welcome.js, and here I will, there is again a shortcut from that same extension, and class based component shortcut is RCC, and then press the start. uh, this is all okay, but generally I don't like it to do export default here. And I will do export default welcome. Okay, so here there are two more things are there. One is this, you'll see this render is there. Okay, so let me again change it to H1. Welcome to React is there. Okay, so this H1 I'm showing welcome to React, and this is a proper class response. Although the way to show it is not that different, we'll show it like this only, welcome, and it's a default export always. So it will show like this. But see the changes here in the class based component. We're using the ES6 class method. We're using the ES6 class something, and the first thing is that, and the second thing is that we are extending from component, which is coming from React. Extends component is coming from React, and you don't have to know much about it. But the thing is that if you extend something, it's an inheritance. So we are, because of this inheritance only, we're able to use some very good thing in a React project. Okay, so that is there, and the render method is there, which is very important in the class based component. Inside the render only the return is there. I'll close this thing. So here there was no render method, but here the render method is there. Actually, because of the render method also only we get access to a very important logic, which is the state logic in a class-based component. Class-based earlier functional components were also known as dumb component, because it was not having one of the main features of a React, which is known as state, and another is lifecycle method. So this is a class component code. Okay, so that is done. Now next thing which we are going to learn is okay. So there are some differences in JSX which we are going to learn a bit later on, but let me show one of the difference. Maybe somewhere it has been shown. Okay, so in JSX there is one difference. See this class name, you are seeing this class name. So what is this class name actually? Class name equal to app. If you see, this app is like this app. So class name are nothing but a class only. Class name are nothing but class only. Why I'm taking class name? Because class is a keyword in JavaScript. If I go to this welcome, class is a keyword. So when we show HTML classes in good evening, so when we show HTML classes, then what we do, HTML classes, when we show, we use the word class name, because we cannot use the keyword of class here. So that's why we do that. But if I right click and if I show one thing, inspect, and if I go to the see, here it is changed to class of app. If I see the thing, class of app only, it is being changed. So that is like this, it's work. So now we are going to learn the first major topic in React, which is the props. So actually React is a very small library of JavaScript. There are not many topics. There are some other topics which you should always learn beyond the React, which I'm teaching. Means maybe it is somewhere out there. So that is the, I have a Redux course also on my channel, like you should go through that also. So there are some of the concepts are there, like thing, so which are there, which are required in React, like a React router concept is there. Maybe if you have time we'll cover it, and all React router concept. But the thing is that there are only three major topics in React, major things in React. One is the props logic, one is the state logic, and one is the lifecycle method logic. So see, only this small thing is the highly demanded skill on the planet. only, and it's very easy. React is very easy. Facebook has made React very easy in comparison to Angular and other things. It is way too easy. So you just have to learn this thing to get a job. So easy. So it is just so easy to get the job nowadays with this React, the easy logic of React. Okay, so that is there. But even for this easy logic, you have to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, because it is a combination of all these three things. I'm writing all these three things here: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all these three things. That's why we teach HTML, CSS, JavaScript first, then React. Okay, so now we'll learn the concept of props. So concept of props is what? Props, by through props we can pass our data from a parent component to a child component. Okay, uh, yeah, hooks will be on day 3 and day 4. If you go through the complete things, you'll see that hooks is on day 3 and day 4. Okay, so that is there. So it's a 4-day course. Okay, so today, tomorrow, and Thursday, Friday. Okay, so we are going to first see the concept of props here. So concept of props, one more thing I want to do here, I want to comment out some of these things here, because we are going to see, okay, how to comment out in React. Select everything and then do a control backslash. This is how you comment out in any programming language. Comment control backslash, I'll do and it will show like this. Okay, and comment out this is like a normal and like this. But this is how the React comment inside a return statement works. Okay, return or a render statement, it will work like this. I'll save it. So now only the greetings from React will be shown. So now I want to pass some props. What is a props? Props is a concept of passing data from a parent component to a child component. So in parent component, in this context, is the app is a parent component, greeting is the child component. So first I will do 3 times. Then I will pass something like name equal to JavaScript name equal to Golang, name equal to shift. So I'm passing 3 things. Okay, JavaScript, Golang, and shift. Okay, so this is anything here is not a keyword. Name is not a keyword. You can write, you can give any other thing also here: name, address, email, anything you can give. And this JavaScript is of course not a keyword. You're passing the data, and this is the data. This is the data I want to pass it from the parent component to the child component. Now how to get this in the child component, which is a greeting. So first thing, when we send something like this is one of the props, and we will receive it here. Props will receive it here in a functional component. Now I'll do a console log of props, just like JavaScript, the console log is there. And actually the props I'll show greetings from in React. One more thing, if I want to show something within h1, I have to show it within the curly bracket like this. So I can show anything like 1+1 or anything I can do, it will be shown like this. Now I will be having the props dot name. Props dot name, why I did it? Because that was the thing. Props dot name was thing. But why I did this props dot name? That will see in the console. Okay, so I'll inspect. I'll go to the console, and the moment I'll save it, you'll see this will change. Welcome from JavaScript, welcome from Golang, welcome from Shift is coming. Okay, so that is there. So here the see the console.log is there. The props, what is the props? Props is like an object, which is the name JavaScript, name Golang, name Shift. Okay, it is there. So this is how it is there. So that's why one thing which is magically happening in React, I passed something like name and JavaScript, and it was converted into an object like name JavaScript, name Golang, name Shift. It was converted into an object by React. By React, it was done. So I want to get the value out of it. So props.name is there. Yeah, JavaScript code have to be written with a single curly bracket. Okay, so if you are coming from Angular background, there is double curly bracket there. Here it's a single curly bracket. Okay, so that is there. And so this is how the props dot this is how we show the variable name. So props dot name, I'm doing this, and this is coming. So the other thing is that this is the most common way to pass data between a parent component and a child component. There is another way to pass the data, and which is a less common way, but not also that much less common. It is actually used at least 10% of the time. 90% of the time you're going to pass the data like this. But there is another way. That way is like React component, as I've told earlier, it is ended by a backslash. But I can do the complete thing also, and it will not even yell at me, and it will not give me any error. Okay, so no error is been given. So that is it. So it means I can do it like also like this greeting. Okay, but if I pass something inside here, language of the web and language for iOS app, I'll save it. You'll see in the console log where I have this console.log props, you'll see something known as children is coming. I didn't give anything like a children. I didn't named anything as a children. But the thing is that if from the parent, if you pass anything between the these brackets, it will be gone as children. It is known as children. It will go on as children. So now I know that if I do a props.name, name is coming. If I do props.children, then that will come. So let me show that. I'll do a P, and I'll do a props dot children, props dot children. I'll do, and hope everything will be shown. So I'll save it. I got a big fat error. So what error I have got? So the error is been telling like that, and the error is quite perfect error. I was expecting this error. Adjacent JSX element must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. Did you want to use a JSX fragment? So it is giving me that, and it is suggesting me to use something known as JSX fragment. Okay, so let me take the suggestion. And why, see, the error has also gone from VS Code. VS Code is also very helpful. So why the error had came? Because in React, if something starts with a tag, it cannot end with another tag. In our case, it was starting with H1, ending with a P. So if something like this happens, uh, you have to wrap it in a fragment, or fragment is nothing but, or it should be the same tag. Like fragment is also giving me no error. I can give like this also, div also I can give, and it will also not give me any error. And I'll save it, and it will show me. Okay, so now the greetings from props.name is coming, and the props.children is also coming. But there is one more thing what I want to tell. Why it suggests me to take a fragment, not a simple div or simple span or something like that. Why just this is fragment, like this fancy thing of fragment is there? So I'll right click it. Actually, I was not intending to take a div. Maybe my style is also not like that. I am now doing a this thing like a inspecting it. So when I'm inspecting it, you'll see this div has been added here. Okay, so the div has been added here, and a div has been added here, and the div has been added here, and a div is wrapping everything with a h1 and a p. Div is wrapping everything. But in most of the cases, what happens, I don't want it to do this thing. Maybe my CSS also doesn't allow me to do this thing, because div is a block level element, even span is a block level. If you know about CSS flexbox and grid, which Mosam have completed in our CSS course, so flexbox and grid consider anything like a div or anything like a children of its own. So it used to, this kind of thing used to break a lot of JavaScript styling, not React styling. So React people came out with something known as fragment, in which what happened, instead of this div and all, I'll do this thing like this. Okay, and I will save it. Now if I again inspect it, you'll see the magic here. Again inspect it, it is shown like there is nothing, like this h1 and p is there, like this h1 and p is there. It seems like I have something like a fragment, but it is not showing me in the styling. It is like showing h1p three times. It will show because I'm passing the component three times. Okay, so it will show like this, no thing. So it fragments help us to not go beyond the styling. Like styling used to break a lot if you used to use a div and all, so it will not be there. So that is there. And Yeah, we'll get problem. Not always you get a problem, because I will also use a div, but we used to get a problem in production apps. So that is there. So that's why we always say CSS is very much important to do anything in web development. Okay, so that is there. And now we are going to look into how to do the same thing in a class-based component. So here I'll come and let me do one thing. Open this welcome. Open this welcome also. Maybe I'll put something name equal to better. Let me add a horizontal rule also between. See, one more thing in React is very much important. All these things with functional component. Okay, so hope you. I think you didn't saw it correctly. This is a functional component only. We did everything. Hush. So this is a functional component only. I told first. This is a functional component. This is a functional component. Everything is a functional component. I was just going to show the class based component right now. So everything I had shown in the functional component till now. Okay. So the only thing is that hooks adds some special superpowers in functional component. That it adds the logic of classes, logic of states, and logic of lifecycle components in a functional component. Everything else, the functional component didn't change since 2015. It didn't change. Functional component are like functional component. So past 7 years, functional component didn't change. Okay. So that is there. And now we'll see how to do it in a class based. Okay. So I'm again passing some props. So props doesn't change. And then Golang and and one more thing I wanted to tell, this horizontal rule is there. So everything in React generally, in if you go on HTML, this will also not give me any error, but actually it has got a self-ending tag, which in HTML code, pure HTML code, if you don't even give, it will not give an error, but in React it will give an error. So if you have to use something like HR or a BR, you have to give this self-ending thing. Okay, so that is there. It is mandatory in React. So again, I will do a welcome here, and maybe Java, maybe this one should be so. Now I can write like this, anything, but it doesn't matter that I will always have to write some string and all. I can pass something else also, like maybe I'll pass a button. Okay, click, right. I'll save it. Okay. So welcome to React is coming right now. So I will close it because it is like same. So again, but how do I get to the props data here? Because here I was getting the props data in this as a parameter. So functional component have a parameter, but class based things doesn't have a parameter. So how do we get it here? And again we will get the same error, so it's better to wrap it in a fragment, because I want to show both of the things. Welcome to welcome. Okay, again like this, and a paragraph this. But is it will I write like props dot name? No, it is already giving me. Actually I will write this dot props dot children, and this is where the dangerous concept of this comes into picture. Okay, So this is the full course of React only which we are doing. Okay, so we do this every month, Harsh. Every month we do this thing. So if you want to see, you can see the older code, older thing, because we just go in a loop mode every month. So every month the CSS is covered, JavaScript is covered, React is covered, everything is covered. Every month it is done. So you can watch the previous month React course if you want to see right now. Okay, so that is there. So we have everything on our channel. So welcome to this dot props dot name is coming, this dot props dot children is coming. So this keyword is a thing which is required here. So this is required here, and this is a bit of confusing thing in JavaScript. This is sometimes a bit complicated thing, and that's why React is moving towards function hook based functional component. So we have to use this keyword because we don't have access to this uh, parameter and all, so we use like this. And this keyword is that this dot props dot name, this dot props dot children and all. Save it. Okay, so now see, now I am able to get everything. Okay, so like this it is there. Okay, so now let's look into the main concept of React and all. One of the main concept of React which makes React a React, and that is the concept of a state. Okay, so enough of this thing. I will comment it out, and I will also put this in a GitHub repo and maybe paste in the description of this thing. So I will comment all of these things out. And we have a lot of React material on the channel. You can always see a lot of React projects are there. Some of our top performing projects are some of the clone projects and all are also we have. And next week we are going to do a React projects on the channel, because it is always good to do everything through projects. So this week all theory, next week we'll do some cool projects. Okay, so that is there, and we always try to do these things on this channel, theory along with projects, so that you can be a web app developer. That is what we want you to become a web app developer. So for that you need theory and you need practicals, so both of those things are there. And certifications for the theoretical part is like that you attend all days. I'm soon going to give the attendance form for day one, and it is a 4-day course. So every 4 day you have to fill the attendance form to get the certificate, participant certificate. And practical, like practical those thing for the projects thing, you have to complete the projects. Okay, so that is the thing. So now let's quickly start with the state. Now maybe I will create a new file here. Okay, and it will be new component counter dot js. And right now we'll think like a state is only there in the class based component, because on day 3 we're going to start this thing on a functional component also. But now let's think that class is always only here. So export default counter, and now for the class to be shown, we need to show the constructor. Actually, class-based components always have a constructor also, but it is not necessary to show the constructor, and it is not mandatory. But we can have a constructor. So this is a ES6 class, so it will have constructor also. So please go through a JavaScript course which was done by Hari previously. ES6 and all were done here. So I'll do again a shortcut is there, r const like this. And here one thing is very important when you take a constructor, this super props is there. Okay, so super props is very much required here. So this super props, because I'm inheriting from React, so this super props is required because I'm inheriting from React. Okay, so and this is where the concept of state comes in React. This dot state, we have to use the this keyword, this dot state. Why this I am using? And state is generally a object like I will take a count and 0. So key value pair, objects always have a key value pair, and state is always a object in a this class based component. And we take it with the this dot state. Why I am taking it with this dot state? Why cannot I take something like var state? Why cannot I take like this? Why cannot I take like this and var state and use it? First, React will not allow. You might use this. There are some syntax other which is required, and React team has done it for a reason, because a var, var. A lot of us know that var is a like a functional scope. It cannot be contained within a if statement or all. But see, constructor is a function. If I use var also, this cannot go outside here. This is again a function, it cannot go outside here, so var I cannot use. So this keyword have got a special feature which I always say. So this keyword can be used at many different places within a class, although there are some issues there which you are going to see soon. But the benefit of this keyword is that it can be used at many different places within a class. That is the benefit of it. So I'm using this dot state here, which is an object, and I can give anything like count 0 is I'm creating a state variable which I can do anything, because I'm creating a counter program here. So now I will go here, and again I like to do it as a fragment, and then I will do a h1, and h1 I'll do a count, and this dot state dot count I'll do. So again, inside this curly bracket, I have done this dot state dot count. But why did I did this dot state dot count? Because this is an object. This dot state is an object, and I want to get the value of 0. So this dot state dot count, the 0 will come. So okay, so that is there. So this is, let me. I don't want to do this like this. Okay, so save it. Now I want to show it. Just I want to show this component. So I'll go here and do a counter. I'll do and save it and save it. So this 0 has been shown perfectly. So this is one of the major concepts in React. So I'm showing this, but my intention are to update this thing, to somehow update this thing, and for that I will have a button here, and button I'll write increment, and then I'll write on click. So on click, okay, and one more JSS stuff, that on click C is like a camel case. JavaScript, HTML also have on click thing, in which C is not, C is like this. Okay. But in React, it's a camel case. Okay. So increment I have done, and then I will call a method to increment the state. I will call it this dot increment count. You can call it anything. I'm calling it this dot increment count. Now I will need to call this increment count. Okay, increment count. So increment count I have done. So now he is okay. Sajid has, now it is okay. Okay, so increment count I have done. Then here the main thing is that this dot set state, and so I want to increase this value, and I have to increase it with the this dot set state. Why I have to add it with this dot set state? I'll come back to that. Okay, so count and this dot state dot count plus 1. Okay, this dot state dot count plus 1. Okay, so why I'm increasing this count like with this dot set state and all, and why cannot I increase it like this, like this dot state dot count is equal to this dot state dot count plus 1? Why I cannot do it like this? There is a reason behind that, and we cannot do it with that. I will come back to that soon, why we cannot do it. There is a, so what I'm doing here, in this dot set state I'm passing an object, and in this object I'm doing this count is like this dot state dot count plus 1, this dot state dot count plus 1 I am doing. Okay, so that is like that, it is done. Okay, so I'll save it, and now the button is been shown. So let me go here in the console, and okay, and now I will try to increment the count. Okay, so I will click it, and I got an error. The count is also not increment. Count is also not increment, and I got an error also like this. Okay, so can't access property set set, and this is where the problem with class-based component come. I told that this keyword is accessible at a lot of different places, but then also there are some of the places where it is having an issue, and we cannot go too deep in this keyword because this keyword is such a big thing. Not in React, this is a JavaScript issue. This is a JavaScript issue. This keyword is a very big thing in a React JavaScript, because this keyword is such a big thing that the whole book is there in that, and we should not go so much deep in that thing because we are not here to master JavaScript, we are here to learn React. So the main thing is that I will come to it bit later on, that this keyword is causing a problem here. My React code is not able to understand what is this keyword belonging to. Actually, it is thinking it is as undefined. So to fix this issue, there are four solutions are there. I think we are going to see some of the solutions today also soon. So all the solutions, because I think I'm going to cover another 2 3 topics today. So to solve this problem, how do we do it? There is a bind keyword in your JavaScript. Okay, bind keyword in JavaScript. We will do that. This dot increment count equal to this dot increment count dot bind this. Okay, so this dot increment count is this dot increment count dot bind this. I have to do. I will save it, and now I delete it. So this is something which you have to do. What is a bind keyword? If if you want to know, you can do a JavaScript bind. You see what is a JavaScript bind. It is actually the main problem with this keyword is been solved with this JavaScript. So it's a complicated thing, but you solve it like that. This keyword bind it like this. Okay. So now I will increment, and see it is incrementing properly, and this is the magic of React, and this is how I increment it properly. But the next thing which I told, that I'm going to tell why this dot set state is required. Why cannot I do something like this dot state dot count equal to this dot state dot count plus 1? Why cannot I do something like this? And I'll do a CLB this dot state dot count. This is state dot count. I'll do. Okay. So I'll save it. Now instead of this dot set state, which is a inbuilt, which is a function which is given to us by React, I'm doing like this. So the normal way. So maybe this will work. So I'll click on it. But if I click on it, see, this is the state is getting increased 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever is there. But it is still 0. It's still 0. It is still 0. So no use. Why it is still 0? Because this dot set state, although the state is increasing, but this dot set state is having a special features. When this dot set state runs, this render function which you are seeing here, render function will run again. Render function will run again. And this is how React works. This is how React, this rendering has been done. But when this render function done, you will not see any refresh here, reload or anything here. So it updates the virtual DOM, and this is where the power of React comes. This dot set state is nothing but it reruns the render. The moment I do this dot set state, the state will get increased and it will re-render is this, and then this dot state dot count will show me 1, 2, whatever is there. So it means we cannot use like this. So I'll comment this out. I'll save it. Now I'll go back here and then I will increment it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so whatever I'm doing it, see, it is, but everything is incremented properly. But we have done a console.log, so we're seeing one issue here, and that issue is that small issue, not a big issue. See, it is 8, it is 9, it is 9, it is 10. It is always one step ahead of it. So why these things happens? These things happens because our React is actually very fast. The moment it does this dot set state and line number 14, it will come to this return and it will show it. Then it will go to this line number 15 and show it. So that is always one step behind it. So if we want to show this thing, or there are sometimes special cases in React, not in this simple case. I will also make it like this. What happens in React, sometimes you want to execute some code before it goes to the render. So what we will do like this here. Okay, so I'll take this and comma, and again a arrow function. If you don't know arrow function, I think it was taught in our JavaScript course. So I'll do this console.log this dot state dot count. So the main thing is not that thing. The main thing is in the second parameter I'm showing this thing. So I'll save it and I will delete it, and then I'll increment it. Increment count 1 2. See, now everything is perfect. It is 8, it is 8. So what happens now? This is a state dot count, the state is been changed, and then the console log runs first, then it will go to the render. So it will work like this, then it will go to the render. So that is one thing. So before completing this state, I want to tell one more thing here, and that is like, there is one more. This you can think this is as a special case. I will tell another special case, and for that I will have another button, increment 5 and increment 5. Increment 5 and increment 5. So now I'll go here and increment 5 I will create. And one more thing which I want to do here, even whenever I create a new function, I need to do this thing in a constructor. This dot, but there are better ways to do this thing. We are going to see it today itself. Okay, because we every class will be like 1 hour 15 minutes. Okay, because I'm going to cover it in 4 days. Okay, I generally nowadays I don't take 5 days. I cover it in 4 days only. So this increment 5 is there. So this increment 5, I'll come here and do a this dot increment count, and I'll call it 2 3 4 5. 5 times I'll call it. I'll save it. Now I will do it. Increment, I'll see increment is working fine. Okay, but the moment I do increment 5, see, it is only incremented once. Again 5, it is only incremented once. But in the console.log, if you see, it is ran 5 times. This thing ran 5 times. This 5 means that this thing ran 5 times, but it is incremented only one. Why this thing happen? See, React is a very performance oriented thing. So React is used in Facebook.com, which is the biggest web app on the planet, because it has got 3 billion people on Facebook. We have got 3 billion people on Facebook, which is half of the population of planet Earth. So it is very unique. So it is not easy to run a site web app like Facebook, so which gets more than 10 crore hits per second. So it gets that much thing. So performance is a very important thing here. So in React, what happens in functional component or class based component, if this render runs a lot of times, it hampers the performance. And render, when does render runs? I've told that whenever the result state has been done, the render has been done. So when React sees that a lot quickly, we are increasing the state. We are increasing the state. We are calling this increment count. For performance optimization, it will club them together in one single thing. It will club them together in one single call. So that's why it is happening like this. But in this case, we really wanted to run 5 times. So in this case, we know this is a React issue, that React is thinking that we are wrong, but we know that React is wrong. So what we will do here right now. So in this special kind of cases, which happens like 1% of time only, we first, I'm going to remove this thing. Okay, so I'm not going to have this thing. And the second thing is that instead of this we are going to change this all thing in a different way. So there is something known as Priv state also in React. Previous state keeps tracks of the previous state. Then I'll do the previous state and then count is priv state dot count plus 1. Previous state dot count plus 1. I'll save it now. Now anyways this will not work anymore, so increment I'll do. Increment is working fine, but this is also working fine because it keeps track of the previous state and it will also work fine. So this is one of the special case, you will get only 1% of the time, so that is there. So this is done. Now we will look into another topic for saying it a day. Okay, so that topic is like, okay, for that again I'll do one thing. I will open my greeting and welcome, and that topic is the topic of destructuring. So destructuring is a ES6 concept and used heavily in React, and because all developer loves the destructuring concept. So if I open this greeting, so see I have this props is coming. Okay, the props is coming here, and destructuring is props was an object which we have already seen. It's an object. I think the console.log will also show that it's an object which we have just seen earlier. It's an object. So we can do object destructuring here. How we can do object destructuring here? We'll see that. Instead of this props, we know the props have this name and children. So I'll write here name, comma, children. So this is object destructuring I'm doing here directly. I don't require this anymore. So here the benefit is that I can now only have this name. I can now only have this children. Okay, so like this I'll have. Okay, I've written some wrong spelling. Children. I'll save it and see nothing will happen. So greetings is this thing. Even if I refresh it, well, it is not required. Everything is working fine. So this is one way to do the destructuring. Okay, this is not a mandatory thing, but every developer who I know love this destructuring thing because I'm getting rid of this props keyword here. Maybe this thing I'll call in a real component 100 of times, but I'm getting rid of that. Okay, so that is there. So name and children is there. The another way to do a destructuring in a functional component is like, I'll go here, cut it, and I'll make the props back. And this is like a proper destructuring. You'll see const equal to props. So this is something which you have seen in ES6 props. I'll save it. So no issues there, and it will work like this. Now coming to the class-based component. So class-based component, will come back to that. And now here, how to do the destructuring? First thing is that I don't have something like the parameter here. So the way to do destructuring here is only the second way. And second way, and one more thing important is that it should be inside the render. It should be inside the render. I'll come and then I'll do a this dot props. I'll do, because here it is this dot props, so not props. And now one benefit is there which you'll see. I'm getting rid of 2 words here, which is a lot in programming. So if I am going to use it like 100 of times, these 2 variables, which is generally the case, then I'm getting rid of 2 words here. So this dot props, it is like this. This is the way this is, and nothing will be different here. Okay, so that is done. Now I'll do one thing. One sec. I will show tell the last thing, but before that, last topic of today, I'll do one thing. Day 1 attendance. So we have attendance on every day. So day 1 attendance is here. Please fill the day 1 attendance. Okay, so that is there. Now we have one more thing which is remaining, and I'll show one thing. This now what we are going to see actually, when this we were binding the this keyword here, this is an increment dot bind and all those things we're binding. So we saw that this was an issue because of this keyword in JavaScript mainly. Okay, so actually there are four ways to solve this issue. And we are going to see the four ways to solve this issue. Maybe I will create a simple component because this counter.js is a complicated component. Okay, so I will name it event bind.js and cc for default event bind. Okay, then I will comment out this thing, and so a lot of commenting is there. I will soon remove this thing, but I will give the code first. Event bind like this, save it. So event bind, anyways, there is nothing. Maybe I'll do it. So event bind is been shown. So let me quickly do the same thing here, like what we have there. Maybe I'll this time I will have a r const of message hello world. So here this one again, this dot state dot message and a button click on click equal to this dot handle click and click. We know we'll have an issue here, but the issue mainly comes, I'll show, because of this keyword, because there's a this keyword issue is there. So this dot set state is message hello React. Well, let me also open the console here and I will save it and I will click it. See, I got the same error like the which I got earlier, and I know how to solve it. But the main thing is that this console.log at line number 12, it is showing as undefined. So this is undefined. So that's why it was not getting what is this about. So that was undefined, and we need to solve it with this thing like the bind thing. So bind thing. So you see what will this means. This dot in this dot handle click equal to this dot handle click dot bind this handle click dot bind this. Okay, so this is the way we solved it earlier also, and I'll come back here. Hello React has been shown, and see it has been refers to this whole object. Actually this refers to this event bind object, so it's a event bind object. So all of this thing it has been shown. Okay, it is showing as an object. One sec, I think every browser sometimes show a bit different. Actually I will show it in a Chrome because that Firefox is showing something weird. Okay, so this actually is the event bind. This event bind, a object of this event bind. This is this event bind, the object of this event bind. So that's why this dot set state works here. So this is the method number 1 to solve the issue, which we have seen earlier also. There are another 3 methods to solve this issue. The other method is to solve this issue is like instead of this, I'll do one thing. Okay, I should have told it earlier, but it's okay. So the other method is like here, only I'll do a bind this. When I'm calling it, only I'm going to do this bind this. So I'll cut it and hello this, hello React, and the event bind has been shown. Event bind has been shown like this. Okay, so I'm binding it here with a bind keyword. But actually, these two ways are very old ways. They came in 2015 when React came. But nowadays we use some new ways here. So new ways here. What are the new ways here? So we'll see that thing. And you should use the new ways, not these two old ways. They are quite old ways to do this thing. And so we'll look into another way. Okay. Other way is to use the famous arrow function. See, arrow function are not only to show the style. Arrow function have a special feature. The special feature of arrow function is that this keyword is binded very properly in arrow function. So I will call this with arrow function, but when I call this with arrow function, I have to call it here because it's not a reference here. I will save it, remove this, click it, and it is showing perfectly. So this is one way, and this is the third way. And but this way is a special way which you are going to see nowadays. You should not use the bind way. That's a very old way. So you see this way being used a lot when I want to pass some parameters here, but generally I don't use this way also. The way which I use is, let me comment out this. Is I will do a normal this dot handle click, but I'll make this function an arrow function. Now I click it here and it will be done like this. So now always blindly, whenever you create a function in React, either in a class base or a functional base, always create it as an arrow function. So that's why I love arrow function. I always create it with arrow function. You'll never get the this error again, which is happening because of JavaScript, of course. So that is like I made this function itself a arrow function. This is something which you should always do. And hope everyone have filled the attendance sheet and all. And today done a lot. So today we are going to end here, and I'm going to give this in the description. This will be there as GitHub. I hope everybody knows GitHub because GitHub is something which you need to know. So that will be there. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. We do a lot, means every week something is happening on the channel. And we have a lot of courses also on the channel. Someone's asking about the courses. Maybe I'll ping me if you want to know more React courses and all. Ping me on LinkedIn, so I will provide you all those things. Or maybe you can leave a comment and I can pass those playlists and all. If you want more playlists for React, I can pass those playlists. And thank you all for attending. And with this, I will end today's stream, and we'll meet tomorrow, and we'll do more of class-based component. Hopefully, we are able to complete it tomorrow, or maybe we're going to do it on the continue doing it on Thursday, because we don't have a class on a Wednesday. I generally take class on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, so in 4 days we'll complete React because I'm doing classes every day for 1 hour 15 minutes like that. Okay, so we'll do this thing, and with this, we'll end today's stream. Thank you all for attending.